Checkpoint 6A, rewriting equations with more than one variable. Problem number 16. You can find this problem in page 640.
Okay, so we need to solve for h in this problem, and we are given v equals 1/3 pi r squared h. So we need to isolate h to find what h equals. So we're going to multiply all of this by 3 to get rid of the fraction, because we don't want to work with fractions because they're harder than whole numbers. So multiplying it by 3 would get rid of this fraction, because 3 times 1/3 is equal to 1. So we're going to simplify this to 3v equals pi r squared h. And then our objective is to still solve for h, so we need to get h by itself. So we're going to divide this by pi r squared, because dividing this will cancel pi r squared out, leaving h by itself. So whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. So we're going to divide this by pi r squared as well. So simplifying this would cancel out pi r squared on the right side of the equation, would cancel out, leaving h by itself, equaling 3v over pi r squared. So our final answer is h equals 3v over pi r squared.
So our original equation was v equals 1/3 pi r squared h, and what we got for an answer was 3v over pi r squared equals h. But how do we know the answer is correct?
To find out if this solution is correct, we're going to work backwards to see if we end up with the original equation. By doing this, we're basically trying to solve for v. So the first step we're going to take is we're going to multiply the whole solution or equation by pi r squared. We multiply by pi r squared because we see that 3v is being divided by pi r squared, so multiplying it will undo or cancel that. So we are going to multiply by pi r squared so we can get rid of 3v over pi r squared. So after multiplying it, simplified is 3v equals pi r squared h. And we're still trying to solve for v to get the original equation. So we're going to divide by 3 to get v by itself. And we are left with v equals 1/3 pi r squared h, showing that our solution is correct because we ended up with the same original equation.
Okay, so this equation looks complicated, but something that a student might find tricky is seeing how there's multiple variables in this equation and how there's also a fraction involved right next to the pi r squared. But variables are very similar to solving with whole numbers. So to avoid common errors, make sure to do whatever you multiply on one side, do it to the other side so you get an even balanced equation and you get the right answer.